Hello, small groups. How y'all doing again? Hey, I promise this is the last time you guys are going to see me for a little bit, but I brought a friend with me today because I think that our message is very important. Pastor Trent has opened up Genesis 25, and for most of us, we refer to the Esau and Jacob story. But I got different twists here today. Brought my sister Ranetta here with me. She's going to answer some questions with us. Tell people hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
So when I heard Pastor Trent preaching today, and I listened very carefully, the one thing that stood out to me that was very important was, how can we mess up what God has planned for us? How do we get in the way of that? Think you can tell me about that?
Yeah, I definitely can. I feel like, for the most part, we feel like we know the answer. I don't know why we feel that way when God is the answer. I mean, he made us, he created us, and everything that goes on in our life is because God allowed it. He's, ordained us to walk the purpose and calling in our life. But I think sometimes we feel like we got it. We don't need any help, and that we can handle everything on our own, not realizing that really the answer and the key is with God. So if we start to get outside of ourselves, we need to go back to God. We need to realize that God is the only answer. And sometimes pride. Just thinking that, we're educated for some, some of us think that we have the degrees and things like that. We know the answer for that, for things in life. But really, in all honesty, we wouldn't have that knowledge and that wisdom if it wasn't for God.
So, well, what about the piece of the parent? So you're already told that the youngest is going to be over the oldest. That doesn't necessarily work. But you as the mother, you have the knowledge. God's talking to you. How do we look at that as something that's to get derailed? How do we get in there and mess it up?
Because we feel like they're our children. And again, they're really not our children. I tell my kids all the time, you don't belong to me. God allowed me to be the vessel to bring you forth, but you don't belong to me. You are still God's child. So everything that I do with you, I'm going to have to pay an answer to, or, give an answer to, right? So a lot of times we feel as parents, especially as mothers, we again have the answer. We know everything. We feel like we know our children even better than God sometimes, not realizing that he's the one that created them just like he created us. So that's where we go wrong a lot of times, is that we feel like, oh, because I'm the mother and I know my child. And because you'll hear mothers say that, like, you could tell a mother about something about their child, said, no, I know my child. I know him better than that. And I feel like I can have the answer for that. And, you feel like you can explain everything as if you have the answer again, and so a lot of times the pride of being a mother, it's not a bad thing, but when you're getting in the way of God, I feel like that's a very dangerous place to be. And sometimes I think we just feel like, okay, my child came from me, my child has, Ray carried that child, just like Pastor Trent talks about carrying that child for 9 months. Oh, us mothers will say 10 months, but for us to carry the child for that long, we feel like we know the child so well, the insides and outs of the child. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times my children surprise me and I think I know them well, and I'm like, didn't see that coming. So we don't really know. And so really, again, it goes back to seeking God for the answer.
Well, then tell me this. How did you stay focused so that the whole plan can come to fruition, if you will? How do we keep parenting, but also let God be God in that dynamic?
Well, a lot of times, just for like example, I was telling Elder Charles before we were coming over, my son moved away to Texas, and he came to his father and I and said, I feel like God is guiding me to move that way in that direction. Me as mother was like, whoa, no, I feel like that's not the right answer. I feel like you're not ready. I just like was thinking so many things are going through my head, and then I had to stop and I realized, but God, he spoke to God and talked to God. And that's what he explained and expressed to his father and I, that God explained to him, this is the direction he wanted him to go. So I can't get in the way of that, because if I do, I can cause, things to fall apart. I can get in the way of his blessings and what God has bestowed upon his life. If I'm saying I trust God, I have to trust God in all my ways. That includes my children. So a lot of times I have to step back and say, you know what, God, if I don't see it, you clearly see it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing that you clearly know the purpose and the plan and the path of my children. And I have to be okay with that. I have to go and see God. Hey, God, even with Josh expressing that to us, I went in prayer. And I said, God, I may not feel good. I may not feel easy about it. It's something's like, because of the fears of a mother, you want to protect your children. You want to always watch over them. You want to make sure they're good. You want to even try to live their life for them to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes you made or did the same things that, you've seen people do in your family or in people around you. So I had to like really just stop and pray and seek God and say, God, you know what? If this is what you're giving to him, let me be okay in my spirit. Let it settle, let it resonate in me that I know he's fine because he's in your hands. And that, at the end of the day, is all that's to it. So
That is priceless. I thank you. Hey, folks, that's all. That's all this time. This is my last time doing it for a little bit. You'll catch me again. But if you know what, let me put this out there to you. If you want to be a part of the teaching team, if you want to get into conversations like this and help us grow, because that's what Rooted is all about, us growing, reach out to Teacher Tyrone, myself, any of the teaching staff. We would love to have you so that we can keep growing our wonderful family here at VIP. And remember, VIP is the place to be. Peace, y'all.